Hi, George is here.
Yeah, hi. So yesterday, like we had discussed about the relationship, and we had created the relationship between the tables. We had like the tables as customer. We had taken one customer table, one address table, and we had created like first like one-to-one relation, one-to-one or one-to-many relationships, and then like the many-to-many relationship between both the tables. And we have also seen like a lookup table. There was a lookup table LKP country with which we created a relationship for the address table. So this was the final model that we have for these tables. So now today we'll be looking into the lookup process, basically how the lookup process happens, and then we'll go and create the other required tables and load the data in these tables. So first the lookup process that we'll be seeing is the internal lookup process. So this lookup process, like we had discussed when we had discussed about the cross-reference table. So in this slide, basically on the right hand side we have a customer base object, and in my customer base object I have one record here, and on the down this is a cross-reference table, that is the XREF table, and in the XREF table I have two records, one from the CRM system, one from the sales system. So just to tell you, on the down if you see the row ID objects are same for both of them. So probably if you, this is a like later scenario which is like a merge scenario. Initially like I had loaded two records and I have merged them. So when I merge them, one record basically gets deleted from my base object table, and in my cross reference it always keeps all the records. So this we'll see like merge scenario later, like how this is happening. So now this is my structure. Currently in my base object I have only one record, and in my cross reference for the same record I have two cross reference records from different systems. And on the left hand side what I am doing is, this is a staging table, C underscore STJ underscore CRM underscore customer. So this is a staging table of customer from CRM system. So I am loading a data from the staging table to the base object table. So when I do that, MDM basically checks two things. First, the system name, whether the system name, like here I am loading the data from a CRM system. So it will go and check whether for CRM system, whatever PK source object or the primary key we pass is present or not. So here it is able to find this combination, that for CRM system, PK source object, whatever we are passing like 3507 is present. This means that this record is coming as an update. So basically I am sending this record the full name as an update. And if it is not able to find this combination, means suppose we are passing like 3508 as a PK source object from the staging table, because in the staging table we have this PK source object column, and like we had discussed that this PK source object column from the staging table gets stored in the cross reference table. So whenever we do an incremental load, it will go and check the PK source object and the source system name, and based on this columns it identifies that incoming record is a new record or it is an update which is coming for an existing record. So because it is able to find this combination CRM and 3507, so it will update the full name column here in the cross reference table. And if it was not able to find this combination, like for example if we would have passed 3508 as a PK source object, in that case one record will get inserted in my base object and one record will get inserted in my cross reference table. So this is an automatic lookup process. For this, like we don't have to configure anything, it happens internally by the MDM. Okay, any questions in this?
Just quick question on your
Yes.
last statement.
Yeah.
So this is the example when you already have two records in your cross-reference table and another record coming through, and we match on those columns, and that's
Yes.
why it knows that's the update. But then you said
Yes.
that if this record will be new,
Yeah. So if
it will be
we are
inserted in
passing,
customer base. But now, let's say we have a record from sales systems,
okay.
right? So it's already in custom cross-reference, and it probably will be in a customer base already, right? Because that's the
Yes.
only record we have. So now the new record comes through from CRM,
Yeah.
but then we have to do the matching in order to find which record is a good one, right?
No, see, yeah, that is what I told. Like this, we have. I have just put this slide just to show you that initially, like what we have done. This is a part of match, like what we'll do later. So initially, when we load the records, both the records will be there in my base object. So CRM and sales, both the record will be in my base object as well as in the cross-reference table. Later on, when I go ran the match process, the match process said that both are duplicate record and they should be merged into each other. So I merged both of them.
Right.
So when I merge both two records, two or more records, only one record will be the surviving in my base object. But in the cross reference, I will have all the records. Cross reference keeps all the records. So now, suppose I have done this, I have loaded two records, I have merged both of them. So in my base object, I have only one, and in my cross reference, I have two records. Now I am doing an incremental load, and in incremental load, I am passing again the PK source object as 3507, and this is the full name. So based on this combination, the PK source object and the system name, like the CRM, it will try to identify whether this record from our CRM system exists or not. So if it exists in the cross-reference table, it will go and update that.
Okay.
Similarly, if I send, like for example, from the sales system, if I send this number A53UTI, it will update this record. So based on only these two columns, row ID system and the PK source object. So now, like for example, this we talked about the CRM system. Similarly, like sales system, if we are loading the data from a sales system, and if we are passing the same PK source object here, A53UTI, this the same record will get updated. Otherwise, one more record from the sales system will get inserted into the base object and the cross-reference table.
Okay, but in this case, if let's say the record comes from the sales system, and it will match on those key columns, and
yes,
it will update this record, but this record is not in the base.
Yeah, correct.
The other one is there. So now, what happens if this is a better record? Like
that will discuss
with a full name. So based on our matching criteria, this may be the better record that we will need to replace in the base.
Yes, you're correct. So that is basically part of consolidation process. So that we will be discussing later part. Because here we are discussing about the lookup process, how the lookup happens. This we'll discuss like that's a part of survivorship and order of precedence in MDM, which takes many columns into consideration.
Sure.
And based on that, it promotes it. So that part we will be discussing later.
Okay. Thank you.
So first updates are done. Updates or inserts are done into cross reference, right?
Yeah, updates always happen at the cross reference level first, and then it will happen at the object level.
So we need to again do merge or consolidation to the object level?
No, automatically it will happen. First MDM will, if it finds that this is an update record, it will update at the cross reference level, then it will go and update the base object. But as of now, I'm saying it will update, but there are also scenarios where it might not update. But at the cross reference table, it always updates the records.
Okay.
So this is like internal process when we are loading the data in the same table. I am in the customer table and I am loading the data from a staging table of customer. So I am loading the data into the same table. Now the lookup process that we have to define is between two different base objects. Like we have a customer table and address table, where customer is a parent table and address is a child table. So when we are loading data in the child table, which is totally different table, in that case we need to define the lookup process. And that will happen similar to this. There is no difference. Whatever we are seeing here is the same thing will be happening between two different tables also. So we'll see that part. So again, in this slide, I have taken the same customer table, like one record in my base object and two records in my cross-reference table. So is this time little bit changes I have done here. If you see, both the records are from the CRM system only. So previously in the previous slide that I had shown you that one record was from CRM, one from sales. Now I have both the records from the CRM system itself. So probably I have loaded two duplicate records from the CRM system and I merged both of them. So that is why for the same row ID object 10810, I have two records in the cross-reference table. So this is my current situation. In my base object I have one record and in my cross-reference I have two records. So customer is my parent table and now I am going to load my address table. So here you can see that this is a staging table. This staging table belongs to the address table. C underscore stj underscore crm underscore address. So this is a staging table of CRM system for address base object. So when we are loading the data here, we will have this foreign key column like the customer ID or the customer row ID column that we had created yesterday. So this is the foreign key column and this is the PK source object. This is the primary key of the address table. So in this what we are passing. So in the normal Oracle side, if we say when we are talking about that, we always pass the primary key value. Whatever is the primary key, in the foreign key we pass the same value. So primary key or the unique key is like a row ID object. If you can say it's a row ID object, which is the unique key in the base object. So we don't pass the row ID object because see, row ID object we don't know what is a row ID object. Business doesn't know what is a row ID object. Neither it is storing that in their system. Row ID object value is generated in the MDM and it is only for MDM. So we know only the source system details. So source system passes the PK source object. So I know like in the staging table, you know what is the column you have passed as a primary key. You might have passed the customer ID as a primary key. So the same thing is coming here in the child table. So customer ID column here again contains the same value like 3507. So again in this case, what will happen when you are trying to load this data into the address table, it will go and look up the parent table. So parent table is the customer table and here it went and found that whether for CRM system primary key or the PK source object value 3507 is present or not. In case it is not able to find this value, it will reject the address record, which is the normal thing, because if we pass a wrong in the child table, if you are passing a wrong value, the record gets rejected. This is the same thing here also. If you are passing a value like 3510, which is not there in your parent table, the record will get rejected. But here, like in this case, it is able to find the combination that for CRM system 3507 is present. So now what it will do is, based on this combination, it will copy some data to the child tables. So in my child table, this is my address base object. I have this customer ID column. So just to make it here, customer row ID is mapped to the row ID object of the parent table. This is the relationship. I have created this customer ID or the customer row ID, you can say, column, and I have mapped it with the row ID object of the customer table. So in my landing table, I have passed this value 3507, which came into my staging table. Because the lookup process happens when you do the load process, that is loading the data from staging table to the base object table. Before that, it doesn't check whether this value is the correct value or not. So now here it went into the customer table and checked for this detail CRM system and 3507. And what it will do is it will copy these data, the row ID object. So the row ID object value will be copied into the base object level. So this is the row ID object, it is copied at the base object level. Row ID xref value, this 100 is copied at the cross reference level. So this is what happens when the lookup happens. So see, finally it is storing the row ID object only, 10810, which is the normal Oracle process also. When you are loading the child table, you pass the primary key value. So internally at the end, it is storing the primary key only, that is 10810. But we don't pass it directly into the landing table. So we are not passing like 10810 because I don't know what is source doesn't know what is 10810. Source only know the primary key, that is the customer ID. They have a customer ID column, and that customer ID I have used as a primary key here. PK source object is my customer ID. So I am passing the customer ID, and for that the lookup happens and it gets converted into the row ID object. So that's basically called the lookup process in MDM. The lookup process happens and it copies the row ID object into the child base object, and it copies the row ID itself at the child cross reference level. So the columns are same, customer ID at the base object, customer ID at the cross reference is same, but the values are different. Base object contains the row ID object and the cross reference contains the row ID xref value. Any questions in this?
Yeah, that's really confusing. What is this error that you put from address based object to customer based object? What does this error mean?
Sorry, this one, customer ID to
Right.
this.
Yes.
This is the relationship. Yesterday,
this is just relationship. It's not that.
Yeah. I am just showing that I have created a relationship between this customer ID column and the row ID object of the customer table. So once the relationship is created, then we need to do the lookup part. So how the lookup process will happen, because we are passing the here PK source object of the parent table, because see, we don't know the row ID object, what is the row ID object value, because the row ID object value is not stored in your source system.
Right.
So source doesn't know what is row ID object.
Right, I understand. It finds it as a cross reference based on the match, on the lookup. So when the lookup finds the record, it gets this row ID row ID for this record it found.
Yeah, the corresponding row ID object is, it knows what is the row ID object based on this combination, and it will copy at the child level. And similarly, row ID xref is there. Row ID xref is a unique column which is there in the cross reference table. So that is copied at the cross reference level.
Yeah. I think those naming conventions for those row IDs, that's what make it more confusing, because they all look the same. Row ID object.
Yeah.
Instead of saying that it's custom across reference row ID or it's a address row ID, but it says just row ID object, and it makes it very generic.
Yeah. So because the roid object will be there in both the tables.
Yeah,
So,
and you
so
don't know
roid
which
object.
one is it for. So that's what
Yeah.
makes it confusing.
Yes. So that's why it is under a particular base object. So that will make it clear that this is customer, and under that I have a roid object, and like here we have a address under which we have a roid object. And the naming convention here, it is like customer ID. Usually we give the naming convention like we had given yesterday as customer roid or roid customer we can give. This is just to tell that this is a foreign key column of which table. So by looking at the column name, you can easily identify that customer ID means, okay, that's a foreign key column of customer table.
What if there's another relationship? Like there's
Another,
the address may be related to another table, not only customer but maybe something else.
yes,
But
yes, that is, so address can be now with address, like we have with address, there is an address type also associated. So that's two different tables. So between those two tables, again, this similar lookup process will happen. Between every two different tables or the different base objects, same lookup process will happen.
right, it will always point to the parent. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So always there will be one parent and one child will be there, and in the child we pass the parent PK source object, whatever PK source object value we have stored, which is there in the cross reference table, we pass that value. 3507 or 350 it will pass, and that will get converted into the roid object.
Okay.
So this is there. Yeah. Any question?
No, okay.
And one more concept here is about a shadow key. So whenever we go and create a relationship for any column, like if I create a column as customer ID and I map it with the roid object of the customer table or any other table, so what happens in the child table, there will one extra column get created, that this is the extra column which is called as a shadow key. So whatever is the name, like customer ID is the name of my column, so just s underscore will get appended to it, and this is called a shadow key. Shadow key contains the primary key of the parent table. So this value 3507, or we can say whatever value I am passing from here, this value is stored in this column. This we can say, or we can say this value also, both of them we can say. So basically, whenever the lookup happens, three things are copied from the parent table. The roid object is copied at the base object level, the roid xref is copied at the cross reference level, and the pk source object is also copied at the cross reference level in the shadow key column. So that's a shadow key, but in the new versions, I will just tell you about what was there in the previous version, what is there in the new version, just to make it clear in case you are working on a previous version. So in the new versions, like from 9.6.1 version onwards, this shadow key is not important to us. Why it is not important? See, if you see at the customer cross reference table, I have two records with roid object 10810, and both are from the CRM system. So previously, till the 9.5.1 version of MDM, what was happening is MDM was storing the same value, the same roid object 10810, which is there in your base object. Here also it was the same value, like we can put here 108. We can say here also it was storing the same value 10810. So at the base object level and at the cross reference level, it was storing the same value 10810. So now 10810, by looking at this number or roid object, I cannot figure it out which is the exact record, because 10810 is there for two records. For both these records, I have 10810 and it belongs to the CRM system. So how do I know here I am talking about 2 records only. I might have merged 5 records or 10 records. So how do I know it is referring to which record exactly? So in this case, they had created this concept of shadow key. So shadow key is containing the primary key of the parent table. So now by looking at this combination 10810 and the PK source 3507. So here you know this combination 10810 CRM and 3507. That this is the first record we are talking about. So that was in the previous version till 951 version. MDM was storing the row ID its same value 10810 at both the levels. But from the 961 version of MDM, this has changed. So now at the base object level it stores the row ID object, at the cross reference level it stores the row ID XF. So now I have 100 here instead of 10810, and 100 is a unique column in my row ID XF. So if I know that this is 100, I know that it is talking about this record, the first record. So shadow key is still getting populated, but just wanted to say that it is not useful now in the new versions. In the older version, it is still useful, because by looking at these two combination only, I can identify the parent record. Otherwise, it's difficult to identify. Okay. Any questions in this? Or once we do the practically now, probably it will be more clear. Otherwise, at least from the PPT point, if you have any questions, let me know. We can discuss it again before we go and do the actually practically the same thing.
Yeah, we might need to. I mean, it's clear for now, but I'm sure in a few minutes we'll be confused again.
No
So
problem.
You might need to go over this a little bit later.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll go to the MDM, and here we have these tables. We had created yesterday these tables like customer address and the relationship table. So now what we have to do is we need to create a staging table for them, and basically the lookup process has to be defined in the staging tables. So now what we'll do, we'll go to the staging tables and create a staging table for all the base objects. So first we'll go to the address table and create a staging table. So staging table, again we can do a right click here and add a staging table. We'll add a staging table for, we'll create only for one system as of now. And here we will select all the columns. So one staging table has been created for the this address table for CRM system, and similarly we'll create one staging table for address. So because these two are my parent table and we have a relationship table in between. So again we'll go to the customer base object also, and here also I will create a staging table. And the convention we have already discussed, like usually we give S or STJ to identify that is staging table, then the source system name and the base object name. So in this also customer also I will select all the table columns. So these both are done, and now we need to go to the relationship table. So this is the relationship table that we had created yesterday. So now here I will select both the columns. Once I have selected the columns, if you click here, you will see this edit button getting enabled. So this edit button gets enabled only if you have created a relationship for this particular column. Otherwise, this edit button is always disabled. So now, like, this is customer row ID. So what I have to do, I need to click on this edit button, and this basically will define the lookup process. So click on this edit. Once you click on edit, by default the lookup system comes as CRM system, because my system name is CRM. The staging table system, if you see here on the top, I have given the system as CRM. So that is why when I click on the lookup, I will see lookup system as CRM here by default. So that is fine, because I need the CRM system itself. And here, if you expand, you will see these two things: base object, and with the base object you will see row ID object, and the cross reference you will see the PK source object. So here we need to select the PK source object column. We don't need to select the row ID object column, because just now we discussed that we will be passing the PK source object column in your landing table and the staging table. So lookup happens only on the PK source object. Lookup doesn't happen on the row ID object. So if you select this PK source object and click on OK, here you can see the same thing. So whatever value you will pass in your customer row ID column, so what it will do here, the lookup table name is customer 1 cross reference. So it will go to the customer 1 cross reference table. Lookup column name is PK source object. So it will look up for the PK source object column. And the lookup system is CRM. So for the CRM system, so the same thing that we discussed just now, that because this is my child table, and in my child table, whatever value I am going to pass for the customer ID, it will go to the customer cross reference table, and it will check the PK source object column and the row ID system column, whether they both are present or not. If they both are present, then it will copy all these three details: row ID object, row ID XF, and the PK source, and it will insert into the child tables. And if it is not present, it will reject the record. Similarly for this one, the address, again we need to click on this edit, and here again I will see the same thing from address table to ID object, and this is the PK source object. So again I need to select the PK source object here. So by looking at this details here, the lookup system, lookup table, and the column name, we can easily identify that whatever value I am going to pass will go and look up into which table. So it is clearly telling here that whatever value I am passing, it will go and look up into the cross reference table. The column name is PK source object, and the system name is CRM. So based on these three columns, the lookup process will happen. Three things basically. So these are the three staging tables done. One more thing that we have to do is in the staging table, country. So yesterday we had created a relationship with the country table. That is the lookup table. So if you see, if I click on the country, this edit button is getting enabled. But if I click on any other column, the edit button is not getting enabled, because we have created a relationship between the country column and the lookup table. So now if I click on this button, edit, I will again see these two things, the base object and the cross-reference table. In this case, I don't need to go through this PK source object. I will select the country code column, because with the lookup table I am not going through the PK source. I will be passing exact value as IND US as a country code value, not the PK source object, which will get converted into ROID object. So for lookup tables, we always select the exact column, and for the business tables, we always select the PK source object. Okay, so once this is done, basically now we have to go and create the land. So base object is done, staging is done, and now we need to create the landing tables. So I think it is already there, but I will just remove it and I will recreate it again here. So now I will go and create the landing tables for them. So again, landing table is similar to the base objects that we had created. So again, once we click on the add item, here it will give the name, like L address or LDJ address we can give here to identify that we are creating a landing table. So it's same as a base object, there is no difference. We are saying it as a landing table. So creation is same, and once it is created, we can go and we need to import the columns. So same way like we had imported the columns for a base object, similar way I will select all the columns from the landing tables. So again I will use this import feature, and using this import I will copy all the data. So this time I will directly copy from the base object itself. This is my C address base object. So from here only I will copy all the record, basically the business columns. So all these are my business columns, so I will just copy them.
Why do we copy the columns from the base and not from the source?
Means if we have already created a base object, the columns will be nearly similar. So I can copy from the base object table, or for example, if you have created a temporary table like we discussed yesterday, that I can create a temporary table and I can import the columns from there. So if you have a temporary table, I can copy the columns from the temporary table itself.
But I thought that the landing tables are exact copy of the source.
No, it's not mandatory. It might be or it may not be, because see, there are many multiple multiple sources which are providing the customer data. So some might have some different columns. So it will not be exact replica of the source. Some, for example, if I have a landing table of customer which might have 50 columns, one source is giving me only 10 columns, the other source system is giving me 20 columns. So the landing table we create by taking all the columns. So landing table
specifies the number of columns, but even the columns themselves may have a different format, or
yeah, correct. It might be because, for example, in your landing table, like we have a first name, middle name, and last name column. And in MDM, for example, I am just keeping a display name, full name column. So I'm concatenating all of them and passing into the display name column. So the structure can be different. base object and the landing table structure can be different, but base object and the staging table structure is nearly same.
Yeah, staging, yes, but not landing. My understanding was that we are just land the data before we do any transformation of them. So.
Okay. So in this, like, I'm just adding one more column like address ID so that I can use it as a primary key. And similarly customer. So again, I will pull the data from the customer base object only because I want the same number of columns. And I will add one more column like customer ID. So the landing table is done for customer table and the address table, and similarly I need to create a landing table for the relationship table. So that is like customer 1, address 1.
This is Madhu.
Yes.
When last class or last class, you said that whenever we are creating a primary key column, it should be char 14. It doesn't apply here.
Primary key column, yeah, that applies in the base object level.
Only the base object is okay.
Yeah, base object, like whenever we create it as char 14. But now I am going to create it the same here in the landing table. It is always character 255.
255.
Why?
Okay.
Because we are passing the primary key pk source object column, and pk source object column is 255 characters. So usually we put that convention. It's not like mandatory that we should put 255 only, but just as a best practice we can put 255.
Okay.
So here, like, I have customer row ID column. So in my base object I had given character 14, but here I will give like character 255. So that is one difference.
So any specific reason why we are putting such long characters like 255?
No, that is what I told. You can put a small one. It's not mandatory. It is depending on the maximum pk source. For example, you are using customer ID as a pk source object. So you know that customer ID length cannot be more than 10 characters as of now, or maybe 15 characters. So I can come here and say that varchar 20 also. That will also work fine.
Okay. So
But just as a general practice, that this column, in this column I am passing up the primary key pk source object value, and pk source object size is 255 characters. So just as a general practice, we can keep it 255, but it is not mandatory.
Okay.
You can keep it less size also.
Okay, thank you. No, I was just wondering whether it is storing data in hash key format or something like that. That's the reason you are putting it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks. So now, like, the landing table is done for all the three. Next is we have to create a mapping. So mapping, like, we have not covered, that's basically next module. But here I will just quickly create it, just one-to-one mapping without any transformation. Mapping is required for us to load the data from your landing table to the staging table. So here I will just do an auto mapping, one-to-one mapping, and this address ID I will use as a primary key. So as of now, nothing I am doing because the transformations we will be seeing in the next part, next module. Here I am just creating one-to-one mapping so that we can load the data and test this lookup process.
His volume is there.
In this, basically, I will use a concate function just to concate because I have only these two columns, so I cannot directly use them. Okay, so all the things are done. So now what we'll do is we'll go and into the landing table and we'll just insert like two records for address table and two records for the customer table, and then we'll come to this relationship table and we'll insert the data. Then because when we come to the relationship table, then only we can see how the lookup is happening. So this is the landing table of the customer. So here we need to have the last update date. I think my system date is okay. So we'll put something here. So I'm just inserting, this is my landing table of customer. In my landing table, I manually inserted these records, all the values. And this is my customer ID column, which I'm going to use as a primary key. So I'm using as C1 and C2 here. And similarly, my address landing table. And this I have just copied it everything, and this is the primary key I am using, edit address. Basically address ID I am passing as A1 and A2 as an address. So these are the two landing table records from my address. So as of now, this is normal process only, means we are going to do. Here the country code I have passed as values as IND. So this here the lookup process will happen, and I should have some data in my lookup table. So in my lookup table, this is my CLKP country, and in this table I don't have any data. So because of this I will show you later. Then I thought that I can show you here, but there is no data in this table, so I will just pass null here. Otherwise, the record will get rejected. So next, what we'll do, we'll have to run the stage jobs. So for running the stage job, what we have to do, we need to go to the batch viewer, and batch viewer is there in the utilities. So once you come to the batch viewer, you will see stage jobs here. So expand it, and here you will see the mapping name. So see how you can identify which job you have to run. That can be identified using the mapping names. I have given the mapping name as M address 1 and M customer 1. So I know that these are the two things which I need to run. So I will click on the execute batch, which will run the stage job. And on the right hand side, there is a refresh status button. If you click on this refresh, it will tell whether it is completed or still going on. So for the stage, 2 records are loaded. Similarly, we'll go and load 2 records for the address table, customer table. So this is the stage part. Once we have done the stage, the data is there in my staging table. After that, we need to run the load job. So in the load job, here we have a different thing. Here how we will identify that which job I need to run. This you can identify based on the staging table name. So that's the difference here. In the stage process, the mapping name comes, and in the load process, the staging table name comes. So by looking at the table name, the staging table name, you can identify that this is the job that I need to run. So I will run this job, load from SCRM address 1, and this will populate the data in my address table.
So these jobs are created automatically, or?
Yeah, these jobs are created automatically. Whenever we create the mappings, it will automatically come. And similarly for the customer. Okay, so both are done. So let us see the data in the backend now. We'll go to the customer table. This is my customer base object, and here you can see the row ID object is 1 and 2. So it got generated using a sequence number, and the values are populated here. 2 records are there with all the business columns that we have given. These values are present here. And if we go to the cross reference table, see the PK source object C1 and C2. This is what we have used, customer 1, customer 2 as my primary key. So I am seeing the same value here. If I go to my address table, I will see A1 and A2 there in my cross reference. So this is my address cross reference, and in my address cross reference, I have A1 and A2 in the PK source object. So now you know that what are the PK source objects here. C1, C2 and A1, A2 are my PK source object, and they all belongs to the CRM system because I have loaded data only for the CRM. I have not loaded any data from sales system. So now these are my parent table, and now I am going to load the data for a child table, that is the relationship table. So let us go to the relationship table. This is the relationship table. In this table now, you need to pass customer row ID and the address row ID. So here what I will pass? I will pass C1, C2, A1, A2. That is the PK source object. So for example, I say that C1, customer C1 is related to A1. Similarly, customer C1 is related to, for example, A2. I will give one more so that I want one record to be rejected. I say that customer C1 is related to A3. Then customer C2 is related to A1. These are the 4 records that I am going to insert. So see, before loading only we can say C1 is present, C2 is present in my customer PK source object. In the address also I have A1 and A2, but A3 is not there, so I expect that this record will get rejected. The third record will get rejected. It will give an error that address row ID A3 is not there. So in my relationship table, or the whichever is the child table is there, I pass the PK source object of the parent table, because see, from the source I can get this only. Source has a primary key of C1, C2 and A1, A2. So that is what I can get. I don't know what is the row ID object as of now, because the row ID object is stored by MDM. So these are the values that we have here. Now I will go and run the stage and the load job, and we'll see like how the data is getting changed. So when we run the stage job, at that time it just copies the data without any check. It will not check whether anything is correct or not correct, just copy it. So we'll go and run the stage job first for this, and then the load job, and then we'll see the data in the tables. So this is the name we had given, mcust1 addr1 for the mappings. So I need to run this. So there were 4 records. So in the staging table, all the 4 records were inserted. And now like we need to go and run the load job. This is my load job, load from SCRM cust1 addr1. So there is a question mark, the symbol is there, warning message. So here we see that total records are 4, inserted is 3, and 1 record is rejected. So why that record is rejected? We can directly check here itself, view reject option. So here we'll get the exact reason. See, you can fully see, cannot find lookup value A3 for column address row ID. So we had given a wrong value A3. So when it went to the address table, address cross reference table to check for A3, it was not able to find this value. So that is why the record got rejected. The same thing you can see in the reject table also. So we will have a staging table. So in the staging table, the reject, if we go, we will see the same record. So it is pulling the data from the reject table only and showing to us. And now let us go and check the relationship table. So this is my relationship table, and if in the relationship table, if you go at the end, see the values here. Customer row ID and the address row ID is 1 and 2 here. So customer ID 1 is basically C1. That means the PK source object is C1, and this is like C2. So you can see we had passed C1, C2 here, but finally it is 1 and 2, which is the row ID object value. Similarly for address we had passed A1 and A2, but here we see values as 1 and 2. So the PK source object, it gets converted into the row ID object. So this is what the lookup process happens. And if you go to the cross-reference table, this is my cross-reference table, and in my cross-reference here you can see there is a shadow key column present, which will tell you what is the value. So as of now, it will be difficult to say that, because the row ID object and the row ID xref of the parent table are same. So you will see 112 in the base object also, 112 in the cross-reference also. But it is actually storing the row ID cross-reference. So this is my xref table. So these values are basically row ID cross-reference. And this is the shadow key which contains the primary key. So this is basically how the lookup process happens. So now you can basically work on the labs also. You can get access. If you don't have access to the MDM as of now, you can get access to the MDM and you can work on the labs also now. Basically 3 labs are there which can be done now. So this is the module 2. So in the module 2, these are the labs which can be done now. So lab guide and other details are already there in the shared path. So you can work on the labs, and in case you are having any questions during the lab while you are working on the lab, so you can just mail me. I will just ping my mail ID. I ping my mail ID so everyone can copy it, and if you have any issues during the lab, just send me a mail. I have access to can check and let you know how to resolve that. So just like once you get access, basically that URL will be provided to you. So if you follow the lab guide, basically it will, one thing is that when you go to the lab guide, it will ask you, there will be a URL which will be provided by the tech class. So once you give the URL, and once you open the MDM console, you will have a username and password. So once you log in using your username and password, you will see only one ORS. So in the lab guide, it is asking to open a different ORS like trn_lab. So you don't have to work on trn_lab. You will have to use your own ORS. So you just have to select your own ORS. Once you come, it will be a blank ORS. Means nothing will be there here. You will see it completely empty. And before starting, you just take a right lock on the top in the menu. There is a right lock, and in that there is a acquire lock option. So just take an acquire lock, and then you will be able to create all the things, the tables and other things. Okay, so let's go through this relationships and the lookup part, and whatever we have discussed practically and theoretically. And if you have any questions, we can discuss tomorrow again before we proceed.
Is there anything in MDM with the SOA related stuff?
Sorry, can you come again?
Is there anything SOA related stuff, SOA stuff in this? Like in our workplace, they have something called SOA, which they are using ESB or something to come inside MDM and going out.
Yeah, that is a separate thing. MDM will be a separate tool, and we can just like in the initial part we have the landing table, so if you have to load the data into the landing table, usually the ETL process can be used for pulling the data from a source and loading that into the MDM tables. And then data getting passed to the downstream system, that can again be done through either message queues, which is an inbuilt into the MDM, or we can again use the ETL process to pull the data from MDM and pass it to the downstream systems.
Yeah.
Okay, then we'll end today's session and continue tomorrow. Okay, thanks everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.